Welcome to another React Native tutorial, and today we're going to be looking at Firebase Authentication using Facebook login. So I've gone ahead and set up a login with Facebook application, and if you want to know how to do this, you can see that in one of my previous tutorials, which I will be linking in the description. So all we have right now is the bare bones for logging in with Facebook. And the first thing we're going to be doing is adding Firebase to the mix. So go ahead and navigate to terminal and add Firebase to your project folder, either with yarn or npm. I'm using yarn, so it's yarn add Firebase, or you can use npm, which is just npm install and then Firebase. So we're waiting for it to get the package and install it, and there we go. So go back to your IDE or your text editor and import Firebase, like so. And we're going to be using this function, sign in with credentials. And we can see that it takes a credential and returns a Firebase promise. So basically this credential is an access token. So if you go to the React Native documentation for the FB SDK and open their access token, you can see that we can get the access token with the function called getCurrentAccessToken, which again returns a promise resulting the access token itself. So we're going to import access token from the FB SDK as well. And in our succeeding function, when the login with read permission is a success, we're going to call getCurrentAccessToken on the access token model. And since it returns a promise, we call then, and we make a function that takes the access token, which we call access token data. And I'm using the ES6 syntax to make a function, which is just a shorthand. So you can see we need to use firebase.auth and then auth provider. So our credential is going to be firebase.auth, and we're going to be using Facebook, so it's Facebook auth provider and credential. And then we pass in our access token data. And since that's returning, as you can see here from the React Native FB SDK, it returns an FB access token, which we then can get the access token from, like so. Okay, so now we got to sign in. So firebase.auth and sign in with credential. And we pass in the credential. And since it returns a promise, we have to handle that. So this one is when the promise was successful. And of course, we got to handle the promise if it fails. So put that after your curly brackets, and this is the code that will execute when the promise is rejected. So we can just log the error for now. Of course, getCurrentAccessToken is returning a promise too, so we have to handle the promise was rejected. And you can see I made a short typo here. The ending bracket should be on the right side of error and not the other place, like I did up in the previous one. And again, I'm just going to log out some error occurred and then the error. So go to Firebase console and make a new project. Call it whatever you like. I'm calling it Firebase Authentication. Click Create Project. And click on Authentication. So we need to set up some sign-in methods, and we can enable Facebook by clicking on the pen over there. So go to your developer's account for Facebook and open the app that you just made to use with your Facebook login. Copy the app ID. And of course you gotta enable, paste the app ID in where it says, and then you gotta get the app secret. So I'm just gonna type my password here. And there you go, copy the app secret. And copy this OAuth direction and click Save. So now you can click over on the left-hand side, this product where you have Facebook login, and then put in the OAuth redirect URL and hit Save Changes. So now you're ready to initialize Firebase. So in your code, make a config object, and that's going to need a API key, which is this one down here. It's going to need an auth domain, which you can find on the database. If you click the left-hand link thing, you can copy the link and paste that in. You're going to remove Firebase IO and replace it with Firebase app, and you're also going to remove https://. Then you have the database URL, which is the URL you just copied. And there you go. So now we make a reference to your Firebase, and we're going to call initialize app on the Firebase and pass in the config. So hit save, reload your simulator, log in with Facebook, okay. And if you go back to your Firebase console and reload, you can see that there's now a user signed up. We can see there's no email, and that's because we're just getting the public profile. But if you add email down here and log in with read permissions as a permission to Facebook, save, delete the account from Firebase and reload your simulator, click login again and OK. Going back to the console and reloading, you can now see you have a new user with the email. And there you go. That's how you authenticate using Firebase, logging in with Facebook. This allows you to use the real-time database with all your rules because you get authenticated this way, which is super nice. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. If there's any tutorials you would like to see in the future, please do leave a comment and I'm sure we can get around to it. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.